Angry guy here, and men are abandoning women to live cheaper, happier lives. Guys, help me get to 100,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't done so, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video again. Now let's begin. Men are abandoning women to live cheaper, happier lives. We're going to check out this video from a Japanese content creator here on YouTube known as Tekashi. He interviews different people living in Japan. Sometimes they're Japanese, sometimes they're foreigners like Americans living in Japan. However, he provides very interesting, very unique, and very different perspectives. So I'm going to read the video to you because it's in Japan. It's subtitled, but I'm gonna slow down and read the titles to you so you guys get a perspective on this, because I want you to see just how cheap it is to live in Japan, in Tokyo of all places, versus living in the United States. And this is just another reason why men in Western society are walking away and saying, you know what, I'm done. So he asked this person, it's a woman that he's interviewing, what do you do for a living?
どういうバイトで時給とかって？
飲食店でやってて、
She says, I work at a restaurant.
で時給は1000
I make 1,150 yen per hour, which works out to $8, $8 US.
150円、10万以上とか、
You need to make at least
全部一人
100,000 yen a month, which is equivalent to $700 US to live in Tokyo. So she's living off just 700 United States dollars in Tokyo per month, and she's doing well on that.
で払うってなると生活はしていけないと思います。
25
This guy is 25 years old.
歳です。外資の商社で
He says, I work for a foreign capital trading company. So he probably speaks English.
働いてます。30
He says, I make 350,000 yen per month, which is equivalent to only $2,400 a month.
15ぐらいです。30
And he said that with 300,000 yen per month, which is 2,100 USD, it would allow you to live a comfortable life in Tokyo of all places. Tokyo is an expensive place. It's one of the more expensive places in Japan. So if you can live on that very comfortably in Tokyo, I want you to imagine now on how little you can actually live on in one of the rural areas in Japan, or less well densely populated areas in Japan. You can basically live on next to nothing. These guys are living on $700 a month, and that's enough to rent an entire small apartment. It's insane. In Tokyo, buy food. Food is very cheap in Japan. I mean, afford transportation. Come on, guys. We're being robbed. We are being robbed as men.
万ぐらいあった方が自由はなく生活はできる。45
He says, I'm a 45-year-old firefighter.
あります。消防士です。だいたい40。
He says, I make 400,000 yen per month, which works out to 2,800 USD.
10万ぐらいですかね。まあ、10
It's totally enough to live here. Guys, this is why men are walking away from Western society and relationships in Western society. We are being robbed by the welfare state. Even if the welfare state said, okay, you have to leave everything you have in America. If you want to leave America, you have to leave everything you have. Okay? Men would flee the country, leave everything behind, go overseas, and create value overseas, create value in another country. Because men have always been forced to survive, to work and create to survive. We don't have an easy path like women do. We bring value automatically to the relationship, because if we don't fight and create value, then we cannot survive, versus a woman who can live very easily because she can always be bailed out by a man or by the state. But in other countries that don't have a welfare state, oh, it's a completely different thing.
十分だとは思いますよ。うん、自分。
18歳で学生
She says, I'm an 18-year-old student.
してて、アルバイ
I have 2 part-time jobs.
トを2つしてます。居酒屋の
I work at an izakaya.
バイトをしてます。10万
I make 100,000 yen per month, which is only $700 a
いか
month.
ないくらいです。ちゃんと6
Some of my friends get by with just 60,000 yen, which is only $400 a month, and they're able to live on that, rent a place to live, buy food, and survive. Guys, do you see how insane it is? The massive difference? And the food is very cheap in Japan. McDonald's, they can go and afford McDonald's in Japan. They're not paying the same exact McDonald's that we're paying crazy money for in the United States. $16 for a Big Mac, fries and a drink, and it's going up to 20 very soon. Okay? These people are paying literally pennies for this. All right? We are being robbed. As men, we are being robbed. It's being ripped away from us. This is why men are abandoning women in Western society and living cheaper and happier lives outside of Western society. I said that guys will basically live in a box if they have to. Many guys will live in a camper. They'll live in a camper. They'll save as much money as they can. They won't spend their money in the US, and they will take their money outside of Western society. And if the government starts trying to come up with new ways of extracting wealth and resources from the men, it's only going to result in a collapse of the system, because then men are only going to work fewer hours and put more money into the system. It will completely wreck the system if they try to target men and rip away their resources to fund their needs. The more they take away from men, the more it only incentivizes men to work less. And here's the crazy thing. As men work less, they can actually collect money from the state. So a lot of guys can say, okay, well, I'm not going to work at all. I'm not going to work at all. I'm going to reduce I'm just going to make just enough to survive. I'll live off the government. So I'll go and apply for Medicaid. I'll apply for food stamps. I'll apply for cash assistance. I'm going to do all of these things. I'll do Uber Eats or DoorDash, whatever. And I'll set up an LLC, and any money that I make from that will go into my LLC, kept separate from my personal income. So I'll be able to continue qualifying for all of these additional things. There are some people who said, oh, I'd never eat at a food pantry. A lot of guys have no problem going to a food pantry. There are even food pantries that will deliver to you. So a lot of guys will get their food at a food pantry, or they'll buy just what they need, make their food at home, and they will survive and they will live comfortable lives. And when they are ready to, when they want to chill, they will fly out of the country to Mexico, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic. They'll already have Colombia. They'll already have an apartment there waiting for them that they're paying $150 a month for or less, fully furnished. And they'll go over there, chill for however long they want to, come back, make a little bit of money in the US. Some of these guys will qualify for Social Security, for SSI. So they'll collect SSI, and again, they'll save all of that money, fly out of the country, go and chill. They'll have, guys, this is what a lot of dudes will do. If the state starts going after men and starts extracting taking away all of their money, the men will just reduce the number of hours they work, cut back entirely, and men, they're already not marrying, they're already not having children, and they will take whatever money they have outside of the US. And it will starve the state. And it's becoming increasing. These men are not marrying. Oh, so can't take that money through the divorce court. They're not having children. Oh, can't take that money through the family court. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to increase taxes. They're working less, so they're now falling into a lower tax bracket, which means as a result, they qualify for a bunch of different tax credits. And they're, you can't take, well, they're only making what, $15,000 a year, so basically and all of that money is going to all of that money is going to go in their pockets. If you're making $15,000 a year, you're pretty much not going to pay. You're not going to pay almost any taxes on that. And if you're you have it going towards an LLC, you're going to be able to write off roughly 100% of that. So you'll report that you have essentially zero taxable income. You'll get Medicaid. which is great insurance. You'll collect food stamps. You get all of these things. You live in a camper or wherever. Pay, spend money on essentially nothing. All of that money that you're bringing, you'll live very comfortably because you'll have your setup, TV, video games, everything you need in there. Everything you need, everything you could want. And you'll just be chilling, sleeping, watching TV, Netflix, playing video games on YouTube all day. You'll be living. And of course, for a man, simple living is a luxurious form of living. Less things, less stress. You have everything you need and none of the clutter, and no woman to torment you. And a lot of guys, that's why I said that fapping isn't that bad. It's relying on it and using it as a means of avoiding something that's traumatized you. That's different. But fapping is not bad. Fapping is a good thing. And these men are going to fap. Whatever they want to, they're going to fap. And they're going to be relaxed. And then once they're done fapping, they're going to turn around and they're just going to continue living their lives casually. And if they want more than that, they'll fly out to Mexico and find a lady there or another country. But they're not going to have relationships in America anymore or any of these other westernized English-speaking countries.
万とかでどうにかしてる子もいるから。
55歳、
He says, I'm 55, I work in
工事関係
construction.
ですね。ざっくり50万。
And he says, I make 500,000 yen, which works out to $3,500 a month. So this guy actually makes relatively good money compared to a lot of the other people that Tekashi has spoken to. And let's continue.
50万。貯蓄はできる程度
It's enough to save some money.
ではありますよね。
She says, I'm 91 years old.
年金
I have a pension, which is 100,000 yen, $700 a month.
月に10万円
The rent is 70,000, so $500, but I don't need to pay.
払ってないけど、7万円。どうにかし
That's why I
生
get
活
確か
by.
にそうですね確かに
Guys, do you see that? Do you see the reality? Men are done with America. They're done with America. They're done with Western society. They are absolutely done. They're done putting up with the games. And here's the thing. When they go to Japan, when they go to these countries, the women appreciate them there and they celebrate them there. Go where you're appreciated. Go where you're celebrated. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying my content, please go ahead and help me get to 100,000 subscribers. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Like the video and turn on notifications to never miss another video again. Let's show them what we can do. Let's grow this channel and let's get the message out to everyone who needs to hear it. Let me know what you think regarding everything we discussed here today. Men are abandoning women to live cheaper, happier lives. I want to know your thoughts, so let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.